Hey everyone, welcome back. It has been a few months since I launched my last episode, and I just wanted to reach out and say that I'm really excited to bring you some brand new episodes. I can't wait for you to meet a variety of women I'm going to be speaking with, and I greatly appreciate how you're still here if you're listening, and for all of your love and support. I really hope that everyone is doing okay in these times. I know that the world is still crazy, and I hope that every week that you come and listen to these episodes, that it gives you a little bit of time to break away from the day-to-day craziness of the world. I hope that we can bring you some inspiration and motivation, and that we can continue to spread some creativity and love. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy our new episodes. Welcome to the Have You Met Her Yet podcast, a podcast by Pink Crown Creative. I am your host, Lindsay Dent, the founder of Pink Crown Creative, a Vancouver-based marketing consulting company. This podcast was created to shine a spotlight on women in the workplace, who they are, what they do, why you should know them. In this week's episode, I speak with Kelly MacLellan from Rowan Consulting and Megan Hughes from Willow Oak Business Consulting. Over the summer, we brought our three businesses together to bring you an exciting collaboration we call Rowan Collective. I can't wait for you to meet Kelly and Megan. I hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome back to Have You Met Her Yet? Today I have with me Kelly and Megan, and the three of us have created something called Rowan Collective, which we are going to speak about a little bit in our conversation today. But Kelly is from Rowan Consulting and Megan is from Willow Oak Business Consulting. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
So before we get started, I would love to learn a little bit more about each of you and your businesses. So if you want to share with us a little bit more about who you are, what you do, what your business is all about, and how you got to where you are today. So Kelly, if you want to go first.
Sounds good. So like Lindsay had mentioned, my name is Kelly MacLellan. I am the founder and CEO of Rowan Consulting and Rowan Collective. I used to own a business very many years ago for about 10 years, and then I sold it to go work in corporate. And during that process, I just decided I miss certain aspects of working for myself and being involved in different aspects of building a business and strategy and development, and that really hands-on work helping someone one-to-one. So the next natural step for me was to pull the trigger to work for myself again, which was a little bit nerve-wracking, but to do it in the form of Rowan Consulting.
Amazing. Awesome. And how about you, Megan?
So hello. I am I live just outside of Vancouver with my husband and two children. I am a CPA, so chartered professional accountant. Right out of school, I worked in the ultrasound imaging industry, actually, just by chance, in the accounting field for about 8 years. After I went back to work after maternity leave with my son, that 9 to 5 kind of corporate, dropping them off at daycare, commuting for 45 minutes to an hour, I realized it just wasn't for me anymore as much as I loved, the work in the company. So I slowly started thinking about what I could do on my own, and entrepreneurship just ended up really feeling right for me. So I ended up biting the bullet, quitting my job, and just starting Willow Oak Business Consulting.
Amazing, amazing. So I always love hearing the reasons why entrepreneurs started their own businesses, why they got out of the corporate world. Was there a moment in time that each of you could speak to of the day that you were like, this is it, I've had enough, this is when I need to do my own thing? So whoever wants to kind of speak to that first, go for it.
Yeah, I can do it. I mean, I had started thinking about it. I went to the beach with one of my friends actually that was an entrepreneur, and we kind of started like throwing ideas around and stuff. So that's when I really kind of planted the seed. But it was kind of near the fall, so a couple months after. I remember just having a conversation with my boss at the time and something just kind of clicked. I was like, this just is not working for me anymore. So I went home and I told my husband all about it, and the next day I went in and I quit. So I'm not sure what exactly it was, but it was just that moment of I think I just hit my limit and I think, with commuting and everything, I was just always a little bit on edge because there was just so much to think about, trying to get home on time, trying to get there on time, and all that kind of stuff. So I think there was just a limit once. It was in October, I think it was, and it just hit my limit and that was it.
Definitely. I can definitely speak to like the commuting aspect. Once I took that out of the equation, it just opened up so many more doors of like the amount of time that you save, your sanity, just feeling like you have more time for yourself and your family, of course, as well. So that for me was like a huge thing. And again, for you, for that to click in October when it's going to be like dark and rainy and sad and depressing, the last thing you want to do is like spend your time in a car trying to get somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
And how about for you, Kelly? What was your moment of time?
Mine had a few moving pieces. In the fall of 2016, I had been working corporate for a couple of years. I really liked the company I worked for, really liked the work that they did, and the morals that they had and all of that really aligned with me. But I was starting to not align with consumption so much because it was based in retail, and just starting to shift a little bit of a lens around like how I wanted this chapter of my life to greet me, because I'd been in retail my whole career. And I hurt my shoulder in January of 2017, had to take a little pause. And in that kind of forced pause, the universe was kind of like, we're going to check you and what you really want, and just, you might have to just step into something different. And I am happy that that happened, even though it was a lot to deal with, because it brought me to where I am now, just knowing I need to like click back into doing the direct work that I feel really inspired by.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's funny how sometimes it takes something like an injury or a moment in time that like makes you stop and really think about your reality and, what do you really want to do? Like, what's driving you? If things were to stop tomorrow, would you be happy with what you're doing? And so that's cool that you had that.
Totally. It's like everything always happens for us and not to us. And even in the moment, it can be hard to see that. But for me, it's like I was ignoring little signs that maybe I was outgrowing what I was doing, because there was still important work going on and accolades and promotions and things like that. And I'm like, well, I'm excelling at this, but disconnecting from it on a personal level. And, when you don't check yourself fast enough, someone's going to come and do it, or the universe is going to do it. And that was, a little bit of a blessing in disguise for sure.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's great. So the next question I had for both of you, when you decided to start your own business, was it because you had background in that specific field and it was just something you're so passionate about? Like, where did those prime sectors of what you've chosen to start your business from, or had you had other ideas of what you wanted to do in business?
Kelly, do you want to
Kelly,
jump
go
first?
for it.
For me, when I had my injury, I took some time to do some career pathing, because I had never done that. And I really identify with, the human side of things, the social side of things, and social conscious and social justice side of things. But I also really identify with enterprising part of, career as well. So it's coming up consistently on both sides. So I just knew, like, I really believe in important work, and I really believe in entrepreneurs and conscious entrepreneurs, and like having employees that can go out and even further that message and help raise vibration. I knew I wanted to help people. So it was kind of like, how do I do this together with like both those things combined? And so I kind of took a step back and just took a look at what I was doing and started to shape something different where I could directly help entrepreneurs and creatives, but then also potentially create a platform for myself down the line to even take that help further.
Amazing. That's great. And how about you, Megan?
I think I kind of remember like when I realized that the commute was definitely one of the leading things when I was considering kind of moving on from the company I was at, which I loved the company. It was just, the certain things that followed. And I kind of looked on like different job boards and stuff, being like, oh, maybe I could find something that was closer to home and, that would kind of take that commute out a little bit. And as I was kind of looking at job description stuff, I just realized that my experience in both the companies that I had been with in those 8 years, it was quite unique in the fact they were actually both startup companies in a sense. So even though I was in the finance kind of role and the department, I also got a lot of experience in the operations and the HR and the administrative stuff. So I had kind of a wide variety that I don't think I was necessarily willing to lose yet. So I know a lot of the job descriptions were very obviously just accounting, that's it. It's a little bit unique that you get all that experience, and I wasn't quite ready to leave that. So that's why it kind of started to stir up in my mind that, if I want to get a very similar to position that I was in, just closer to home, then it would actually have to be something that I created. And I also always kind of had a passion for working with like really small companies, so people that are actually just solopreneurs or maybe 1 to 3 people on their team. So that kind of brought me into the fact where I could actually just be that sole person or a part of their support network. So that's kind of how it grew from there.
Right. That's great. So for both of you, when you started your businesses, can you each talk about what resources you had, what help you had? Did you have anyone else helping or assisting? Maybe you want to share like a little bit about that for anyone else who is maybe in that process right now. So Megan, if you want to go first on that.
Sure, yeah. So when I started, again, for the person that I was talking about at that beach 6 months before, she's actually happens to be one of my best friends. She is an entrepreneur as well. And she actually has a program, which is like an alignment program. And so I actually was able to be a part of her program. And it really helped me. So it was almost like that background work of really trying to make me figure out exactly who my audience was. Like, so she really helped me with all those really fine tooth like points. So I had her throughout that. She also helped with a lot of my branding, kind of my branding voice and stuff. She was very good at, speaking almost like the copyright, speaking to my audience. So I also got like my logo and stuff done by another local graphic designer. So I had that kind of support. And then other than that, I kind of jumped in on my own and just kind of went for it. I was really lucky that my former boss, he has always been a mentor for me. We definitely stayed in touch, even though I wasn't working there full time anymore. And so he was an absolute great resource for any questions that I had around the finance, around owning my own business, and supporting me that way as well. And then of course my family, they of course supported me through it all. So
Oh, that's so good.
yes.
That's great. And how about for you, Kelly?
Mine happened kind of randomly and kind of quickly. I was actually same as you, looking at other job listings and looking to expand myself in certain ways, and just hadn't quite come to the decision I was going to do this myself again. And I actually answered a Craigslist ad
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I greatly appreciate the time that you took to listen and learn a bit more about another woman in business who is truly moving and shaking the world. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, please subscribe, rate, review, and share it with a friend who you think might enjoy it too. These small actions truly mean the world to a small business owner like myself. If you're a business owner looking for inspiration and guidance in growing your business, I would love to help you. I also will be giving my listeners $25 off my Creativity Strategy Hour. By using promo code CreativityAndLove, you can use it at checkout and get it on my website, which is available on the show notes, or at www.pinkcrowncreative.com. You can also stay up to date with the latest podcast releases, behind the scenes, and insider info about each guest by following us on Instagram at Have You Met Her Yet series, or by signing up for our weekly newsletter, which will bring each episode right to your inbox. Thank you so much for listening. It truly means the world. We wish you a wonderful week and hope that it is filled with creativity and love.